kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Hello and welcome, race fans, to the Cannonball Run 250 here at the ECR NextGen Cup Series. I'm your host, Jordan Brockel, and I will be joined momentarily by Sam Fraser as well. And looking forward, we're just finished up practice. We're going to go into some qualifying here. 69 degrees out tonight here in Talladega, Alabama. Track temp sitting around 96 degrees. So certainly a little bit cooler for track tonight, and we're looking forward to some good drafting, good size field tonight too. So this is going to be chase race number 1. Top 12 drivers all reset 1 point around 1 point below each other driver, and then they add the points to their total of bonus points and such of that nature. And I'm working on getting that graphic up for you guys. Dave McDonald going to start and at the number 1 spot for the chase. Adam Boughton going to be right behind, 6 points below him, followed by Tyler Burden. Adam Boughton is also our regular season champion, so certainly got some points for that. Tyler Burden, 9 off, tied with Dwayne Furtick. They tied for the most. Tyler Burden and Tay McDonald tied for the most wins with 5 each entering this chase. John Osborne sitting about 15 off. Kyle Diaz, 17 off in 6th. Bradley Rivers, 21 off in 7th. Ryan McCall in 8th. Michael Carter in number 9, Kent Mueller in number 10. You know, both of those guys fell short last season. So they're the only two that are different from last year. The other 10 drivers were here in this same spot last year, but Michael Carter and Kent Mueller find their way in this year. Brad Rivers, Ryan McCall, Michael Carter, Kane Lee, and Doug Dennis all made the chase without a win so far this season. So certainly consistency, keeping their names in the fray there and fighting to keep themselves, in a fighting spot. Numerous drivers on track right now. We'll take a peek at Kane Lee as Marshall Harris is number 1 at the top of our board tonight. Followed, and just as I say that, Dwayne Furtick goes 53.06. So he's going to jump to the top of the board. We're going to see what Ken can do here on his lap. Going to lay down 53.46 is John Osborne just finishing up his laps. Going to come in there in first. Anthony Ludi going to go 53.96. Not enough for a first, or not enough for anywhere higher than 10th at this current moment. You see there running that high line as high to the wall as you can on this this opening lap. Trying to get as much speed carried through and really make a push here. Adam Boughton, our regular season champ, going to go 53.01 here. Aaron Miller goes 53.90 or 53.79 on his first lap. You're going to see he's going to hug that yellow line down this entire backstretch. And, you're trying to find the shortest way around. You want to carry all the speed on that top line. And, carrying as much speed, gain as much speed, make the track as big as possible. And now they're going to try to sit here and make it as short as possible and pick up the same or fastest time. Everybody should be within a couple thousandths of each other tonight, as Adam Boughton with an 01, John Osborne and Christopher Roth with 03s, Kyle Diaz with an 04. Aaron Miller going to come across and set his time as he dives below that yellow line. Going to come across the line. Going to go 53.07, good for 7th right now. Michael Carter out on track now. Robert Roth going to put his up on the 4th with a 53.04. Take a peek here at Bradley Rivers. Seems like he's hanging just a little bit. He's not full throttle. He's at about 140 mile an hour. He's going to come down pit road now. Travis Gilbert on the backstretch. First time by was a 53.72, so he's going to have a good bit to get to catch up here on his second lap. Not as tight to the bottom as we've seen most people here tonight. Rounds out of turn 4, and this is going to be the thing of the night. Just because you come out of turn 4 doesn't mean you're going to be racing for that center line right here. Normally he would be done his lap right there, but he's got to go all the way around to pretty much towards turn 1. Travis Gilbert going to go 52.99, coming at you right to the top of the podium. As we sit, it looks like just about everybody that wants to take time has taken time. Still got about just under 4 minutes. It's not really enough time to get a full qualifying in, especially with that opening lap being as large as it is. And then, you're 53.60, 53.70 on your first out lap, so that's a minute there. And then, some people don't like to take times here just because of the danger that you could have being up front. But Travis Gilbert going to have a clean air with Adam Boughton to his outside as they sit, unless some of these guys maybe can get one single lap in. take a peek at this again. So you see the largest track that we have on the schedule, 2.65 miles oval. And we're going to be here for 250 miles, about 94 laps here tonight. And we're going to see some chaos. We're going to see some unknowns. And I mean, it's a given. It's Talladega. You know, things happen. So it's really going to be about surviving, especially for your chase drivers tonight. You know, some of these guys having a lot more cushion to lean on. Say, like Tay McDonald having a 50-31 to, you know, our 12th place guy right now sitting in a 50-04. So, I mean, he's got a 27-point lead there on the last place car, but I mean, again, it's going to give him a little bit of space to maybe have a bad night tonight. But I mean, he's going to have to hope that he can rebound on that, you know, and keep pushing, because I mean, it's not a win and you're in kind of, you know, thing. There is no eliminations. There is no special points format. It's straight up most consistent, most amount of points. Said, done, hand him the trophy, he's won. So we're gonna see some of these guys do a little bit of strategy and trying to keep themselves in a good position tonight. I really want to thank everybody that's tuning in and will tune in, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, whatever it may be that you're watching us here on SRM. We truly are gracious for that, and you know, we get to put on some wonderful racing here tonight from Talladega, so we're gonna have a good time tonight. Tyler Burden gonna try to get in a time here. And it looks like Tyler Burden's gonna come around. He's gonna cross the line at about 9 minutes, so he's gonna have plenty of time. He's gonna have about 7 seconds extra time here. He goes 53.74 on his first lap, good for 18th. Riding on board on top, you see him a little bit higher there. I've noticed a lot of guys with this NextGen have started taking that slightly higher so they can tightly, you know, it's a more an easier transition to the corner. It's not as abrupt. So you can see right here, normally at a place like Daytona or such, he would have been done his time right about there before the restart zone. Gonna come through here, gonna see what he lays down. He's gonna lay down 53.02, goes up to number 3 just as time expires on qualifying. The only drivers not to take time are Tay McDonald, Waylon Turner, and Sam Taylor. Everyone else electing to take a time, and we're going to go ahead and go through the grid here. While these guys get ready to grid up, Travis Gilbert going to roll off P1 with Adam Button, our regular season champion, to the outside of him. Tyler Burden, John Osborne going to round out row 2. Christopher Roth and Robert Roth, side-by-side GWR Racing teammates, going to be in row 3. Kyle Diaz and Doug Denise going to be in 7th and 8th. Michael Carter, Pete Walsh going to round out the top 10 in 9th and 10th. Dwayne Furtick and Aaron Miller going to be 11th and 12th. Kane Lee, Aaron Spear going to round out row 7. Marshall Harris and Dylan Picklesimmer going to be row 8. Anthony Ludi, Bradley Rivers going to be your row number 9. Kent Mueller, Tay McDonald going to be row number 10. And rounding out the field is going to be Waylon Turner in 21st and Sam Taylor in 22nd. So, big field, 22 cars. It's a large field here, especially on a sim. You know, we're not professionals by any means. And, you know, you see how much the drivers in IRL struggle. And, I mean, this simulation is as close as we can get to the real thing here. And, it's not easy. Not easy in the slightest bit. And, I mean, this is probably the easiest track to race, but it's certainly the one that will come up and bite you in the slightest bit of second. It doesn't give you any warning. It's not nice. It doesn't even think about you. It wants carnage. It wants to feel it. It wants to see it. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can grab our pole sitter here. Travis Gilbert, it's Jordan up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How are you doing this evening?
Doing wonderful. I'm ready to see you guys go at it here. Talladega, man, it's a sketchy race.
It is. I hope to see a lot of good racing. Hopefully we keep it clean. Look forward to some green flag racing. ECR is not, it's known to go green flag racing on Superspeedways when other leagues have, known to wreckfest. So super happy to take this 22 Vector Track Ford Mustang for GWR to the pole, man. Looking forward to putting on a good show for you guys.
Yeah, we look forward to it as well. And just before we send you on your way to get back focused, being not in the chase, what's your goal here? Like to be the spoiler?
Nah, I got a teammate back there that's looking to win a championship, and he deserves it. That 29 car, Tate McDonald's been fast all year. Super cool dude. Love having him in the GWR Brotherhood. So, looking just to help him out when I can. Otherwise, yeah, at other racetracks, yeah, then we're gonna go look and try to collect as many trophies as we can. But the goal is to get GWR at the top and Tate McDonald for a championship, man.
All right, brother. Well, we appreciate your time, and we wish you good luck for this, and maybe we'll be speaking to you at the end here.
All right, appreciate it, Jordan.
You and GWR, correct?
I am. I just like to give a shout out to all my family and friends and tell my wife happy birthday.
All right, man. Thanks again.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
And that was Travis Gilbert, our guy that's going to lead us to green here. And you heard him there. He's got Tay McDonald, number 29, starting in 19th. He's going to be working with him all night long. And we're going to see these guys pace themselves all the way to that start zone. Travis Gilbert going to be the control car here. And it's time. Coming at you from Talladega Superspeedway. Green flags in the air. And we are racing. The 06 already giving a good push to the 22 here, and we're going to see a lot of that. We're going to have to see these people if they can really work that outside line to keep on these guys. And it's not going to be easy to do all night long. I mean, we're going to see times where these guys are going to start getting squirrely, especially once those fuel loads get a little bit lower. We're going to see these cars kind of, move around a lot more just because, you're taking the rear weight out as you burn through that fuel. So we're going to see these guys bouncing and swerving and fighting the handling of these cars the longer these runs do go. Travis Gilbert gonna bring them back around down towards the start finish line. He's gonna lead lap 1 starting from position number 1, and that 06 of Tyler Burden found his way up to the outside there, gets a little bit of a formation behind him. Not quite as hooked up as the 62 of Christopher Roth is to Travis Gilbert, but certainly finding some help on that outside line. You can see now Tyler Burden getting a massive push, trying to take that lead from Travis Gilbert, trying to at least get a lap led here, but it seems like after those 3 first cars that there's that massive gap. Travis Gilbert might have a good bit run to lead lap 2, but Tyler Burden surges ahead. Tyler Burden's going to lead lap number 2 and gonna certainly clear Gilbert if he wants it. Fast time goes Tay McDonald, 49.49, back in 17th position here. Oh, it looks like we got a man on the wild side outside. Sam Taylor way outside, out high. Running that number 3 Intimidator scheme here tonight. And man, that just, it's always a bad, fast-looking paint scheme. No matter what track or where you're racing, seeing that number 3 and that back in black kind of attitude, Intimidator, it's always a beautiful sight. Tyler Burden, he's up high. Might have gotten shuffled out a little bit there, but he's high. He's going to drop like a rock until he gets picked up by this number 15 car. Whoa, big move. Big block there. The 94 of Adam Boughton going to dive down underneath the 22 of Travis Gilbert, who was trying to throw a block there. Still got 3 lanes. Sam Taylor going to jump up to that top lane, try to bring it up, but seems like every time it starts to get working, it just doesn't. It's almost like that middle line decides to pop up a couple cars and kind of turn it back into that same line. Tight to each other, the 22 of Gilbert and the 94 of Boughton. Super tight. Looks like the 59 tried to jump up in front of Sam Taylor there and make that third line work, but it turns worse for the 40 of Doug Denise, who gets kind of shuffled into that center line, falls back about 4 or 5 rows in that top line. And Sam Taylor still leading that top line, really trying to make that work. And I mean, at some point, sometime, I think we're going to see these guys 3 wide racing for that front top spot. You know, as we get towards the end of this thing, a lot of people not going to want to shuffle. A lot of people not going to want to move a ton. But certainly, I think at some point we're going to see those 3 lanes fighting for one position. And I think that's just gonna, it doesn't work. It's gonna happen, but it does not always work. Let's see John Osborne dive underneath Travis Gilbert again. He's gonna take over the point here, and Adam Boughton gonna give him a good shove there. Tay McDonald still finds himself stuck back here in the back. Hasn't made much headway, but it's also one of those things he may not be wanting to make much headway yet. I mean, it's Talladega, and people are going to be antsy. They're going to be looking for every move that they can make, and just going to have to see how it plays out. Already 7 in the books as the 59 looks underneath Gilbert. Gilbert going to be hung out to dry. Sam Taylor comes up to meet him there, but goes to the outside of him. We're going to be 3 wide coming to the line here. And Sam Taylor finds his way all the way past with help from Dylan Picklesimmer to get to the front there and clear Travis Gilbert. And those two set fast times 49.25, 49.24 for the trailing car of Picklesimmer, and Gilbert looking to the outside again with Robert Roth. These guys are already shuffling around a lot here, and you know they're trying to get in position, and you know that's going to be one of the things as you're trying to find position. The guy behind you is trying to find position, so it's a little bit of a back and forth. Three wide again here as the 59 Rob Roth is going to find the front for a moment. The 9 all over the back of Sam Taylor here. And And that's one of those things, is you just gotta make sure you push in the right time, right place, and the corner's not good. Oh, looks like the 94 of Adam Boughton may have grabbed the wall just a touch there. And then it looks like, I'm not sure who that was at that time of moment. It looked like the 74. Yeah, it was the 74 of Pete Walsh got shuffled out of the way by Tay McDonald. Tay McDonald said, I've got things to do. I've got people to see. And he is almost to his teammate there at GWR of Travis Gilbert. And, you know, Travis said he wants to help, you know, Tay McDonald win a championship. He's racing for a championship. The 10 gets forced below the line. We're 4 wide. 4 wide's not going to work here. They managed to get through it there, but I can tell you later on in this race, that is not going to work. It's one of those surprising moments that it does pull off and work. As you see, that top line has already found a good group of cars. Gonna see that just as I say that, they're gonna break it up, dive to the bottom side, leave what I believe was Robert Roth. Yeah, they're gonna leave Rob Roth all by himself, 29 side by side with his teammate of the 22. Rob Roth, who kind of got stuck out there, finds his way back into the lead of the bottom line here. So 11 laps in here, 20-ish plus miles, 2.5 miles, 2.6 miles around this massive oval. Each time we go around, I'm not good at math, so I cannot do the exact time. But certainly a lot of miles already logged here. Like I said, 12 in and looking to get to 250 miles. 250 miles. That is an insane amount of time to go through, or an insane amount of distance traveled here at well over 190 miles an hour. Sometimes speeds reaching upwards of 200 miles an hour with the right push, the right everything. We hit 198 going down that backstretch. So while these guys got it sorted out, we're going to go ahead and step aside for a moment and pay some bills, and we'll be right back with more action here with the ECR NextGen Cup Series here at Talladega for the Cannonball 250. Gonna bring it back here as we've got caution on the racetrack here. Gonna take a look and see what happened here. seeing anything as of there. Gonna look at the 94 button. No, he looks fine. A blimp here, no? This is already under caution. Adam Boughton gonna pull off to the side there. Not seeing any issues on the track. Not sure entirely what that caution was for. But certainly these guys gonna come down pit road, get their service. So your winner off of pit road is going to be Aaron Miller. Going to go up 11 spots from where he started. Marshall Harris up 13 from where he started. So it's really interesting to see some of our guys that were up towards that front. Adam Boughton, Tay McDonald, who fought his way up to the front. Back here in 20th and 21st. Sam Taylor was up there at the front, led a lap or two, sitting in 15th. Travis Gilbert still sitting up in that third place spot, you know, towards the front where he started. So certainly some shuffling here in this pack. So a lot of others here electing to come back down, grab a little bit more service, a little more splash of fuel. Adam Boughton being one of those guys. Kane Lee, Dylan Picklesimmer. Bunch of guys coming down here to get their service and get going. And it's going to be important to have that kind of you know, paying attention to that fuel mileage is, you know, it's going to be important as we get closer to the end of this thing, because you don't want to be that guy that doesn't have that enough fuel to get to the end here. So 16 laps completed here of 94. Current leader Aaron Miller over Doug Denise and Travis Gilbert, Robert Hoth, and Michael Carter rounding out your top five. Waylon Turner, Dwayne Furtick, Pete Walsh, Aaron Spear, Kyle Diaz going to round out your top 10. Just want to bring this back to fray. Tay McDonald, our current points leader here for the NASCAR, the Elite Cup Racing playoffs here. First race, the Cannonball 250, Cannonball Run 250 here in Talladega. Adam Boughton sitting in second, 6 points behind the leader, Tay McDonald. And as I mentioned before, 10 of these 12 drivers were here last year. They were here fighting for this championship, but Michael Carter and Kent Mueller, two guys that were not in the fight there last year, that have found their way in now, as we're looking here at the number 8 machine of Michael Carter now. These guys are going to get certainly ramped up as we're going to step away, finish up those commercials that we had, and we'll be right back to get back to green flag racing. Back here, getting ready to go green here. Lights are off on the pace car. And we're going to set these things free and get rolling once again. It's going to be chaotic, to say the least. 18, going to be 19 laps in the books as we get rolling here to the green flag. And I want to bring in my co-host now, Sam Frazier. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good, Jordan. You got me? You hear
Yes,
me?
I do. I
My
gotcha.
audio good? Yeah, you know what? Since I'm already talking, I'm gonna call this race back to the green here. Pace car dives into the pits. These guys come around. Green flags in the air. Aaron Miller and Dwayne Furtick leading this race.
Aaron Miller got the lead here on pit road. Dwayne Furtick giving him a solid push, but Michael Carter and Kent Mueller, two of the guys that have not, been in this playoff situation before. They are here now, and they are fighting for a championship this year. 10 other drivers here have already been here in the playoffs. Want to bring up that graphic once again. Tay McDonald, Adam Boughton, Tyler Burden, Dwayne Furtick, John Osborne, Kyle Diaz, Bradley Rivers, Ryan McCall, Michael Carter, Kent Mueller, Kane Lee, and Doug Denise. Your 12 drivers here racing for a championship in this race number 1 here for the Cannonball Run 250 here at Talladega.
That's an interesting name for a race. Cannonball Run 250. I like it. Anyways, Jordan, I want you to tell me. So what are these guys like? What's their personality on track? Because I've never called this league before.
Well,
so
these guys
I'm
are
very,
certainly
very
a
unfamiliar with
clean.
these guys.
He's certainly a clean group of racers, and they are a hungry group of racers, and it's a ton of fun here at the ECR Cup Series. And Travis Gilbert started on the pole here tonight, followed by Adam Boughton in second, who is our regular. Oh, and we got chaos
Wow.
ensuing there.
40. Doug Denise almost went around there. I thought he was going around, but he caught it. I like that number 10 Wendy's car. It's very 3D, if you would.
I mean, we do stay green here, surprisingly.
Somehow.
Tay McDonald finds himself sitting in that last place position right now. But
See Jordan after that chaos,
certainly has broken this crowd up here.
Two of these guys in the middle of the field are tandem right now. About to make it one.
Yeah,
solid
Travis
pack
Gilbert looks to
again.
the outside there, all on his lonesome. Going to drop back just a touch here, and he's going to have to jump back in line. 5th car in line on that outside. He's actually going to shoot all the way down to the bottom. Going to be the 5th car in line on the bottom. Robert Roth filling in that last spot. Right behind him is the 9 of Pickle Simmer. He's going to push Aaron Smear all over the rear bumper of that 77 machine. A little bit of connection issues there from the 9, which is very scary at a place like this, where things happen so fast, and literally in the time that you blink out, everything could change in front of you.
Yeah, it's true. No, these guys are going like almost 200 miles an hour into these turns, so if you are blinking like that, or people in front of you are blinking, it's kind of a scary situation for everybody. These guys have switched to the high line now as they're gaining on the front pack here.
Yeah, that outside line surged ahead and closed it down to one single inside line here. And that's going to be a big move, especially if they can pull something like that later on. You can go from 10th to 5th in the blink of an eye.
Either that or you go from like 2nd all the way back to like 20th in the blink of an eye just as easily as you can move up.
Yeah, Kent Mueller, the leader of this 2nd pack here. Aaron Miller has fallen all the way to 13th from starting at the point here at that restart. Certainly dropped rather quickly, but he is in this 2nd pack. And this 2nd pack, if they could stay lined up really, really, really tight, they can pull themselves to that pack in front of them. As I say that you can see now that Kent Mueller has pulled himself within a half second, so he's going to have that draft from that lead pack. Going to pull off of, have that toe from Adam Boughton there on the end. Now the big question is you see Marshall Harris and Kane Lee by themselves, and then a bit further, Robert Roth by himself. And then you have a 4-car group of Tay McDonald, Waylon Turner, Travis Gilbert, who dropped all the way back there to meet up with his teammate of the 29. And then Christopher Roth right in tow behind them. So you got a 4-car field here, you know, a 4-car pack trying to catch the 59 of Robert Roth. Certainly going to do it momentarily. And then they can grab Marshall Harris and Kane Lee right here by themselves and try to hunt down this big pack of, you know, cars led by Aaron Spear on the outside and Kyle Diaz on the inside.
You see, in a perfect world that may work, but because they are so far back, and yeah, there's still such a long way to go in this race. It's just that how far back they are, I just don't know if that's gonna work, even if everybody was to come together and team up like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing that's going to be crucial for that group is if some of these guys get broken up, you know, if we make it to green flag pit stops, you know, these guys get broken up, you know, some guys leave off quicker than others and, you know, don't necessarily have the runs that they need to get off pit road cleanly. And, you know, that could be beneficial to that smaller group being able to get themselves squared away.
Really just trying to analyze the tactics for this race.
Yeah, and you
wish
can
I
see
was able to watch the from the start here, as I probably would have been able to guess a little bit better than I can now.
Yeah, Kyle Diaz
per
leading
driver,
that.
of course.
Yeah, Kyle Diaz leading that inside line here, not really making any headway, but certainly able to stay around the midpoint of that pack. And you can see now that top 4 cars on the outside looked like they were going to try to drop down and pick up the 26 of Kyle Diaz, but it looks like they choose to stay towards that high line instead. Take a peek back here towards Marshall Harris and Kane Lee. They still haven't been caught by that smaller pack of Tay McDonald, Travis Gilbert, Christopher Roth, Robert Roth, and Waylon Turner. But they are certainly finding their way as they're going about 196, 197 mile an hour to Marshall Harris and Kane Lee's 187. So about 10 mile an hour difference. So they're going to be able to close that in rather quickly. It's going to be a while because it is still 5 seconds of difference between the two little packs, but I mean they're taking off the thousandths. I mean, every little inch they drop a thousandth. They're already almost down to 5 seconds. It was about 5 to 5 3/4 when we started following this group again. So
just don't forget how big this track is, Jordan. This track is
2.6 miles. I mean, it's a massive track. They have plenty of time. I mean, we're on lap 29, 28 in the books here of 94 laps. So, you know, we're well away from the finish of this thing, and certainly if Talladega has anything to say about it, we're certainly going to see possibly some carnage and some upside down vehicles even before the end of this thing.
Jordan, how come you're in the booth and not racing with these guys?
Because I
That's my question.
certainly not a good racer. I should hang up the gloves at this point. At some point.
Well, that seems to be everybody in SRM's excuse, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're in this booth. I mean it's one of those things where we're just up here in the booth having a good old jolly time. And watching others do it way better than I can, as you can see that 9 is all over the rear bumper of the 77 machine, and you know the 8 certainly is in a happy position in my opinion. You know, a lot of people say that being in that second place position is the place to be, you know, here at Talladega or Daytona or any, you know, track that has a massive, you know, pack style racing. But for me, I want to be that third car, because a lot of the time that third car is just sitting in the distance waiting for those first two to make their moves, and you can even be the instigator and possibly push, you know, that second place car just enough to kind of get him, you know, his feathers ruffled, and then he touches the first place car, and then you end up finding your way of having more momentum than the two of them and find your way through. Or they just do it themselves and you naturally find your way around. Either way, you're coming away with a good finish.
Yeah. 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 I mean, you kind of just, I don't know what to say. You kind of just took everything I was going to say away, so. Literally stole the words out of my mouth. Perfectly, too.
Yeah, as you see the 81 of John Osborne down here on the bottom line. 3 cars trying to make something work there, and you know, it doesn't matter how much you link up here. If you don't have a side draft big enough, you're not going to go anywhere. But certainly you can see here they're making some headway, getting forward a little bit, and it just stalls out. If they could pull a little bit of side draft off of these outside line cars, I've certainly seen it done, you know, where they could just move their way through the field.
See, the problem with side drafting on iRacing, or sim racing in general, is that netcode may not let you. And if it does, you have to be really experienced in side drafting to be able to pull it off right without smacking into the side of whoever you're side drafting off of. So it's just a game of who has more experience when it comes to side drafting.
Oh, 100%. Find ourselves just around a third of the way through this thing. 32 laps of 94 down. And you know, it's the calm before the storm, in my opinion. You know, you're out here, you're logging your laps, you're setting yourself up for position, you know, where you want to be each lap. Where you'd like to be, I should say. And you know, these guys are going to be finding themselves, you know, trying to find the bottom to get down to pit road. And, you know, the more cars you have that go down pit road, the more carnage there's going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see what all happens here as we get later into this thing.
John Osborne at 81 Pepsi machine. Nice paint scheme. I like his helmet design too. It kind of matches the paint flow that he has going on with the car. It's got that 74. Pete Walsh behind him in that Milwaukee.
Yeah, and as we were sitting up here at the front, take a peek back, that full group has now become, those small groups have now become a full group here as Gilbert, McDonald, Roth, Turner, Robert Roth, Kane Lee, and Marshall Harris have all found themselves together, and you know, they're going to start trying to make a little bit of headway. Next car to them would be the Lone Warrior of Tyler Burden, sitting about a second and a half off of Bradley Rivers and Kyle Diaz just ahead. And then after that, just a second more ahead of that, is our big pack of John Osborne, you know, just trailing off there, and then Pete Walsh being the end of there.
Yeah, Walsh probably just dumped him and was like, yeah, I'm going to take the rest of the group and leave him behind. I think Walsh is close enough to, well, no, he is. We see it right here. Yeah, I think he's close enough to connect with the rest of this group.
Yeah, and, you know, for... you know, one of the biggest downfalls is being, for Aaron Spear at least, one of the biggest downfalls is going to be that being that leading car for so long. He's going to burn through fuel faster, and, you know, people that are 2 and 3 cars behind him are going to be able to kind of save a little bit more. So if they want to get grouped together and kind of leave, you know, kind of split this pack up, and some people go longer just because they have it, they will.
Number 9 was blinking again right there as they started to go into backstretch.
So we're going to take a peek back here again at Tyler Burden. He's
Yeah, I want to see these guys.
He's found his way with Kyle Diaz, Bradley Rivers, John Osborne. You saw that John Osborne was kind of dropping back, so I believe that Osborne found his way to drop back and pick up, you know, these three other cars to make themselves a little bit of a small pack. Travis Gilbert and them are slower, you know, slowly reeling in that 4-car pack. They were about 17 seconds off of them. They're now down to 9.5 seconds. But, you know, here and there, that 4-car pack is able to gain just a touch. So, you know, that little pack all ran within the same times, and fast times at that. 425, 425, 426, and a 427.
Yeah,
So
that's very consistent times right there. Very close. Ugh. Yeah, excuse me, Jordan. I've had a long day, so it's kind of nice to be able to come out of that and commentate here with you. You're arguably, well, not arguably, in my opinion, at least for my personal preference, one of the better guys to commentate with.
yeah, and I appreciate that, man. That means a lot to me. You know, I put in the work here for each and every broadcast, and I try to, you know, take it as serious as possible, because I mean, this is a lifestyle for me. So being able to do this week in and week out with SRM is a massive privilege. And you know, as we see here, this little 4-car group has made a little bit of headway on the big pack. They're down to 3 seconds here, and they've actually strung it out to 10 seconds on the bigger pack of Gilbert, McDonald, the 2 Roths, Turner, Lee, and Harris. So it shows it's not the numbers that matter, it's the organization that matters more.
It is quite interesting. We're really just watching these guys' tactics go down for the next a lot of laps, honestly.
And you know what would be really, really freaking good for me right now is if I could have it right now, would be rapid fire pizza.
I have to agree. Rapid fire pizza sounds good right now.
Yeah, the first rapid fire pizza opened its doors in 2015 in Dayton, Ohio. The idea was simple: make delicious, fast, and affordable pizza, and now they're in 25 cities across the country. Customers love the fresh taste, the speed, and the ability to create their own perfect pizza with over 35 different toppings and sauces. So go over to www.rapidfirepizza.com for a location near you.
Actually slipped up there with the WWE, eh?
Yeah, it happens.
Are you a fan?
Oh, I did it.
No, you didn't.
I was a professional wrestler for 5 years.
No, you weren't. I don't believe you. I honestly do not believe you.
I wrestled in a group here in Delaware called Right Coast Pro.
Right Coast Pro?
Yep, Right Coast Pro. It used to be.
Oh, Right Coast.
Yep, Right Coast Pro. I wrestled there for about 4 or 5 years, and then I wrestled with a couple of my buddies.
Wait, in what year did you do the Right Coast stuff?
2015.
Wow.
I was about 19 years old and dumb. Now my back pays for it. But yeah, no, wrestled.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Wrestled for years. I was the it guy, jumping off stuff. My apologies for that. Yeah, I was just the guy that liked to jump off of everything and somehow would never fully get hurt, but then would find ways to hurt myself on the stuff that shouldn't have been hurtable. I don't know what the word there is for that, but... So back up front here, Aaron Spear still leads this larger pack, 42 laps into the book. And it's one of those things where we're just counting down the time to where these guys start making the pit stops. And that's when I think we'll see a lot of shuffling, a lot of things go haywire. And You know, it'll be one of those things where we can see just what they'll do as time goes. Michael Carter, again, one of those guys that wasn't in, you know, this position last year and didn't have the opportunity to make a run, as well as Kent Mueller. So the two of those guys right now having very good races, one just outside the top 5, Carter in the top 3 for a podium spot as we sit.
Okay, after further review, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I found him on here. He's not lying. I thought he was, and I can confirm he did indeed wrestle for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. My teacher was Colton Quest, one of my longtime friends. Rest in peace, his soul. Lost him in 2019. Great coach and mentor to me. Just recently revisited him for one of the first times in a long time, just because it's one of those hard things to do. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
I even carried. I took the memorial T-shirt that I have when he passed. Took it to WrestleMania with me up there in Philly. So
anyways, live view here. Back at the front, it's 77, 9, and 8. Top 3 would be Aaron Spear, Dylan. How do you say that? Pickle
Simmer. Pickle Simmer.
Pickle Simmer.
I say
Pickle
Simmer.
Simmer?
It's probably Simmer, but
I think it is Simmer.
Pickle Simmer.
And then
but,
Michael Carter.
Yeah, and you know, you see that smaller group of Diaz,
Whoa,
Osborne.
what happened?
Oh, and we've got massive pit stops going on now.
Stops.
And it
I
looks
thought we
like
were on the backstretch. This is my fault.
yeah, we see all these guys going from 195 miles an hour down to 65.
Is Talladega 65 for their speed limit?
Yes. 65 mile an hour speed limit, 60 mile an hour, 65 mile an hour speed limit down pit road. So you got to go from 195 down to 65 in just a blink of an eye. John Osborne, Bradley Rivers, Kyle Diaz, Tyler Burton, Pete Walsh. The only 5 guys not to come down the first time around, but you'll see them all peel off here now.
Every
the
single
5
one.
of them diving off. I mean, it would be smart to be one of these 5 just because you don't want to be left out by yourself.
You know what's crazy is that most people on TV don't really see it, but when you're in the car, in real life especially, not in the simulator, but in real life, it must feel bizarre going at these top speeds trying to fight your way up, and then you have to pit. You don't have a choice. You have to pit. And it probably feels like you're crawling almost, like from a sprint is kind of how I can describe it when you're going down pit lane. How slow you have to go.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better. Certainly we're going to see these guys get jumped over by the 9 of Pickle Simmer, and I mean, I know they're right there. They should be coming through now. There they are now. So Aaron Spear and Pickle Simmer are going to come through those guys all on their lonesome here. And then they're going to see those guys blend in right behind. And they're going to be under fire rather quickly, simply because they're just 2 cars out by themselves. So they're going to see these 2 lines catch them and run them down. And, you know, these guys behind them are hungry. I know, like I said, Michael Carter finds himself first time in the in the chase and leading that high line, chasing down that two car tandem of Dylan and Aaron Spear.
Look at the gain that the pack is making on these two. Absolutely insane how fast they're chasing them down. These guys are definitely going to get swallowed up when this group hits them.
Yeah, I mean, for them, the best that they can hope for is that these guys are going to, kind of blip the throttle and blip the throttle and kind of carry them with them, and it kind of looks like what they're thinking of doing. So they're not catching them terribly too quickly, and Dylan and Aaron are keeping about 187, 189 mile an hour, and the cars behind them just 190 right now. So yeah, they're going to be able to tuck back in. They're going to be able to keep the control here and ride out 48 laps in the books here as we cross the line. So not a still a ton of time here, but certainly past the halfway point.
Imagine a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 on the interstate, Jordan.
Oh yeah, down 95. You'd see plenty of
saying 95.
I-95. Plenty of these guys, plenty of guys on I-95 would be going about 190 mile an hour, in my opinion. As you're sitting there doing the speed limit, and they fly by. And I wouldn't even say doing the speed limit. The speed limit to me on I-95 is doing 10 over. So,
to be fair, if you're going I-95 southbound, right outside of Atlanta, I think north of Atlanta, it almost feels like you're in a NASCAR race because everybody's going at least 110 average.
Oh, 100%.
I've been to Atlanta many times, and that seems to be about the average speed for the flow of traffic for all 4 lanes and the express lane is about 110 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, and you find that one guy that gets into the the HOV lane or whatever and flies through.
That's usually me, but we don't talk about that. That's a story for another day. We'll talk about that another day.
Certainly. Gonna come up here on 44 laps to go. And we're gonna definitely see another pit stop at some point or another, and maybe even another one squeezed in there, depending on how long they run here, because they did get a quick caution around lap 10 or 11, 12, somewhere in there, so they did come down and run from that point on to lap 45, so maybe magic number. It could be to make it to the end, but it would be pretty tight. I think we'll see them around lap 80 if I had to give my best guess, is they'd be around lap 80, come down and have a roughly 15 lap shootout to the end of this thing. And a 15 lap shootout doesn't sound like a lot. Anywhere else, I mean, it's milliseconds. But here it is 39 miles. It's 1,950 seconds for about a half an hour.
Okay, now be honest with me, Jordan. Did you pull out a calculator to make
Yes,
that
I did.
math?
Quick math.
Say is like there's no way you did all that in your head.
I mean, I am a quick maths guy, but it doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean it's right. It's just quick.
I guess it's all that matters. If you sound right, I'll take it.
I mean, I could sound completely wrong. I didn't say it was going to be right. I just said it was going to be quick.
And we're not building spaceships or planes, so I don't really think the math needs to be terribly accurate.
So a little bit further back, John Osborne is still leading this smaller little pack of Kent Mueller, Sam Taylor, and Pete Walsh. And then a little bit further back, the lineup has shifted just a touch. Robert Roth leading Tay McDonald, but they are only 7, almost just barely 8 seconds behind that smaller group. We saw it jump up all the way to about 10 seconds towards the end of that run. So they are certainly closer and within a closer distance, but they're not gaining, and they're, when they gain, it's just a few thousandths. When they lose, it's just a few thousandths. They've kind of hit a stalling point, and it's got to, at a track like this, it's frustrating because there's nothing you can do more than maybe try to get into a more organized line. But trying to do that at 190 mile an hour, it's there's nothing that even can come close to describing the difficulty of that. I mean, essentially, it's like trying to keep a slinky lined up in between your hands, and you got to kind of wiggle it back and forth, and you never keep it straight. So it's pretty much messing with a slinky at 190 mile an hour.
These guys are trying to stick one by each other. As you saw them kind of snaking around the backstretch, not on purpose. Just one guy probably got a little bit loose, and everybody else was like, "Oh, I wonder if he's trying to break away or whatever." It happens. Massive connection problems for, I believe that's the 22 of Travis Gilbert. I don't know what happened to his connection there, but it looks like he pulled out because he knew something was wrong. I guess it squared itself away because he's back in the pack once again.
Oh, 32. Being a little squirrely there, grabbing that line through the corner, and it's not a fun spot to do that.
This pack is pretty squirrely. I don't know if you noticed that, Jordan, but out of all the packs, these guys seem to be the most.
Yeah, but I mean, they've gained
loose.
Almost 2/10 on that smaller pack in front of them, and now it's not a ton of time because they are further back. But I mean, once they get lined up and really tight together, it's going to be able to really push the issue and try to get up there. But we certainly have another caution coming at some point, some way, some shape, somehow.
Oh yeah, the lap 73 crash that always happens on these 94 lap races. It's common occurrence. Every race that's 94 laps at Talladega, NextGen Cup cars usually is a big one. So I'm telling you, Jordan, like, you think I'm crazy, but I've seen it. Like, it always happens. These 94 lap races, lap 73, absolute big one.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's not if it happens, it's when. Very little timing or times do we not have that big one. So it's going to be
specifically on lap 73.
But I mean, time's just going to dwindle down, and it's going to be one of those things. It's going to happen as it happens, and it's not really going to. It's just going to rear its ugly head whenever it wants to.
Yeah, but it, like I said, it does prefer around that 73rd lap. That's a sweet spot for a massive crash for NextGen, at least. For trucks, it would happen on this lap, but you can't say on an Xfinity. I haven't watched enough Xfinity races to be able to estimate around there, but lap 73 is usually when chaos ensues.
Back up here to John Osborne and them again. They're not too far off of that big pack, but certainly not gaining a ton. And for guys like this, it's like one of those things. As you look out the front of John Osborne here, you can see that pack way in the distance going into turn 3. They're like little tiny ants.
Yeah.
To John Osborne.
Yeah, moving at like almost 200 miles an hour. Oh, Osborne blessed it. Ooh, he might be able to keep it straight.
Oh my lord!
Don't say anything yet, Jordan. Don't say anything yet, Jordan. Don't say anything yet. He keeps it straight, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna take a look back at that.
What on earth happened? Did he get pushed? Because we were on his hood cam there. Oh, he did get. He's getting push.
Oh, right in that right rear, and then I don't know how you hang on to this.
I don't know either, because that is incredible car control.
And then to
right
even
there.
hit the apron or hit the transition and still hang on to it. That's remarkable.
I mean,
hats off to John Osborne there. He finds himself back with this little bit larger pack, so he's not too worse for wear there, as he finds his way still on, still with the pack, but certainly not with the pack that he wanted. And now's what I think. What that larger pack back there wanted to see. Now it's just 3 cars to their larger pack, and I mean, it could just be a matter of time. It's down to 6.5 seconds. A little lower than that off of the back end of Pete Walsh. It's about 6.25 seconds. So you know, they're going to gain time as this larger group continues to just kind of hang out here and dwindle down these laps. You know, 59 laps in the book, 35 to go, and it's just going to go. It's just going to go down, you know, to the wire. Adam Button, a regular season champion, sitting right there in 10th, just off of the back of this pack, and, you know, he's looking to possibly capitalize here as he's part of this front pack that he's going to be able to be really close for a win here. Certainly a lot closer than Tay McDonald, and, you know, Tay McDonald being the leader of the points, as we'll take a quick look at that. Tay McDonald only being 6 points ahead of Button at this current moment, and there is currently 5 cars in between the two. So that right there shows you how every point is going to be important in the playoffs, especially in this where the chase, it's not a win and you're, you know, advancing to anything. It's the best of 6 races, and it's going to be that from there on.
So, my question to you, Jordan, how long have you been like calling or producing these ECR races?
I've done about 3 or 4 of these races, and like I said, these guys are professional as it gets, especially, you know, I mean, there's a handful of guys that are in this field right now that made it without having a win. Brad Rivers, Ryan McCall, Michael Carter, Kane Lee, and Doug Denise, all in this playoff hunt, championship hunt, without a win yet.
That's quite interesting, honestly.
So it just shows.
Yeah,
I mean, you had Tyler Burden and Tay McDonald both entered, you know, the championship chase with 5 wins apiece, and you know Tay McDonald is leading the points, but Tyler Burden's in 3rd. So, you know, a little bit of miscommunication or you know, a little bit of just consistency, just enough to put him in 3rd. But then it shows you that, you know, the back end of that, you know, Rivers, McCall, Carter, you know, not Mueller, my apologies, Kane Lee, like these guys that are towards the back of this this championship found their way in without even having to cross the line first under the checkered flag.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of dedication. How many races in a season for these guys are there?
So this is race number 25.
Wow.
They run. So they'll be here at Talladega for this 250, and then they have the Bristol 300 next Saturday. Then they have an off week for the IRL Bristol race.
Yeah.
And then they have the September 28th. They'll be at Texas 250. And then they'll round out the season at Michigan, Kentucky, and then the ECR Championship race at Charlotte.
For sim racing, that's a decent schedule right there.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, they're, you know, Bristol's going to be one where some of these guys could either get really lucky or have a really bad night. Texas is a fast track, you know, definitely going to be needing to be on point and work with the aero there. Michigan is going to be like a super speedway, going to have to be very dominant on your, you know, your drafting and everything like that. And then you go to Kentucky and then Charlotte. I mean, they're those intermediate tracks that are going to be kind of somewhat technical.
Yeah. Charlotte especially is a very technical track. With these cup cars nowadays. That one's going to require a lot of strategy and racing position.
Oh, 100%.
This one's really just survive. Don't run out of fuel and survive.
Yeah, and I mean, survival is the biggest key here for Talladega. Going to take a look back at this small little 3-car pack. Tay McDonald, just behind that pack, is now within 4.5 seconds or so of that group there. And so they're making small headway to get to the back end of Pete Walsh.
Yeah, they're making their way. That premier number 30, Waylon Turner, given the 29, Pete Walsh, or Tay McDonald, sorry. Good push here.
Yeah, back up front, Picklesheimer still leading this group, and you know he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna want to be the second or third car out. You know, when they do come down pit road again. Simply because you just don't want to be in that front spot. It's not fun. It's not safe.
Yeah, these two are, don't know what their strategy is, but I guess we'll see by the time this race comes to a close. You know, we're gaining on that 73rd lap. It's coming up in the next few laps, Jordan. I'm telling you right now.
Completing lap
73.
60, completing lap 67. So just about 27 laps to go here, and you know it's gonna keep dwindling and dwindling down, and you know it's when do you make the move? You know, some people like to wait until you come off.
Depends on how far back you are.
Exactly. Some of these people want to come off of turn 4 and start trying to make that move and try to do it the hard way, and you know kind of pull that big side draft and drag race to the to the checkered flag, but it doesn't always go as planned. Certainly not at Talladega, because you have that entire tri-oval to go through. I mean, you can see right here they're going to pass the opening of pit road, and then you're going to come around to where you normally would finish at any other Superspeedway track or any other track on the schedule for that matter. And then after the exit of pit road is when you cross the start finish line. So, you know, you really got to put the thought and plan into it, and you know, you're very heavily reliant on the car behind you and where they go, because they're going to be your biggest help through that tri-oval.
You know, something, Jordan, I just thought of that I don't think I've thought of before in previous times. You know, I wonder in IRL if those guys racing at places like Daytona and Talladega ever get that highway fatigue, where you just kind of like forcefully zone out. Like, I know it's probably impossible because they're running at like 200 miles an hour for like hours, but surely some of them have to like kind of zone out. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly
I know you know what
it's certainly possible. Because you know it's a ton to keep that focus, and I know I've been there myself before, but you know you just got to kind of try to keep that focus as best as possible.
Coming down the pits is almost this entire group, minus those three in the back.
Tyler Burton, Bradley Rivers, and Kyle Diaz going to stay out. Picklesheimer, Spear, Carter, Miller, Furtick, Boughton, Denise, and Ludi all coming down. Kent Mueller going to come through the tri-oval as well with Sam Taylor and Pete Walsh. We see Waylon Turner, Christopher Roth, Marshall Harris, John Osborne, Kane Lee, Robert Roth, Tay McDonald, and Travis Gilbert going to stay out this time as well. We're going to go back up to the front here with this little 3-pack, and you know they're going to be pushing as hard as they can. I imagine they would be down here this time by. You're going to see these guys going to come through. They're going to, looks like they're going to go continue another lap. So we're going to go back here to Waylon Turner. These guys don't really look like they're in line to make a pit stop. Certainly a little more unorganized here, but could be also to strategy so they could spread out. But no, it looks like they're going to continue on their way and stay out as well. Back here, the 9 of Picklesheimer and Aaron Miller locked up. Adam Boughton and Dwayne Furtick going to find their way drafting up to him.
And the 9 and the 10. A Mountain Dew and Wendy's fries is not a bad combo, if you ask me. A Baja Blast.
You can't get Baja Blast there.
Yeah, but who says you can't go to the Taco Bell right down the road and go back to Wendy's as your current top three as of now are diving into the pits? That's Burden, Rivers, and Diaz.
Yeah, Pete Walsh gonna get stuck out by himself here. Everyone else comes down, but Pete Walsh is still out there. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen because, now he's just in trouble.
He's gonna get swallowed out whenever the next pack comes up on him.
Yeah, so we're going to hear these guys all get ready to head out as they're going to get freight trained by the group here of Boughton and company. Tyler Burden, Bradley Rivers, and Kyle Diaz on their way out. Certainly going to be looking in their mirrors to be overrun by Boughton as well as he comes through turns 3 and 4. Or turns 1 and 2 here, my apologies. So, I mean, they do kind of stay out far enough that they might be able to stay ahead of this pack here. Pete Walsh finding his way down into the pits now all on his lonesome, and that's going to be troublesome for him. I mean, he's going to have to hope
they're going to fly right by him.
He's going to have to hope he has the money stop of all money stops and able to stay out in front of somebody to tag along onto the back of one of these packs.
My hopes and dreams of 73 did not happen.
Yeah,
I mean, once again.
I certainly love that more than anything because this race has certainly been going really smoothly, and that's what I like to see. I like to see it play out. It never plays out, especially when NASCAR used to throw those debris cautions that never made any sense.
Huh. I do remember the debris cautions, and there'd be like no debris on the track.
Yeah, so we're going to see here Pete Walsh is going to be able to come out, almost cut off Kent Mueller there. But he's going to be able to tag along onto this group here, so not very worse for wear here. He's still going to have a pack with him. And, he's going to let these guys, they're definitely carrying a lot more speed than he was. So he's running about 177 mile an hour. These guys running around 180, 190. So he's going to be able to grab on. Looks like the 91 and 32 coming down now again, too.
Yeah, they're going in.
I wonder if
I thought that was the old Sprite paint scheme.
I wonder if they don't think they can make it. I'm not really sure here. They were just on pit road.
Yeah, I'm gonna reiterate, but I thought that was the old Sprite paint scheme. That dark green instead of that weird bright green that they have nowadays with their more recent brand. And the bottles are clear now. I don't know why. Probably save cost, really. Kind of annoying. It took all the soul and fun out of Sprite somehow. Maybe stop drinking.
Sprite's too spicy.
Take no Sprite. Take no Sprite.
You can see here. This is how close they are. And this is from the roof cam, not even the driver's position. So we'll go ahead and take a look on the inside of Tyler Burton's 06 machine. And he can't even see Kyle Diaz in front of Bradley Rivers. And, it's one of those things that if something happens to Kyle Diaz, Burton's not going to have a single clue what's going on. As you see these guys break up a little bit here. It looks like Rivers tried to go up and block Boughton to his demise. He finds himself in the center of that. He's going to drop himself back behind Tyler Burton again. But Boughton and company on the top line is going to be way too strong for these guys to overcome. So they're going to have to tow in on the back of these guys. And this is where it's going to start picking up. Marshall Harris, Kane Lee just came down pit road. So they're going to be lapped down once they get caught here by the leaders. So they're going to be in the fray of this and just kind of innocent bystanders for the time being. And they may even be help for that inside line of Rivers, Kyle Diaz, and Burden. But I mean, you're adding more cars to the mix, and that's when things start to go wrong. As we just cross over lap 77, 17 to go here.
This group looks like chaos right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's only going to get worse here. You know, and trying to make a pass on these guys 3 wide, you know, it's got to be sketchy for the leaders here. You know, getting by lapped cars is never an easy thing to do in your own head, because you don't know necessarily what they're going to do. It looks like the 12 was looking to the outside of the 51 here for just a moment. Don't know if it's just to grab a little bit of air, but certainly wouldn't want to go 3 wide on those two. I would like to be tucked underneath. I would like to be tucked up underneath the 94 of Adam Boughton here and try to, you know, let him pull me around this track.
Owners Banquet and ECR is a quite a combo, I have to say. Highly recommend it if you're of age, of course.
Oh, that looked like Taylor, the 3 machine, way off the track there, searching for his name, Sam Taylor. Oh, save it, hang on to it, bring it back.
Looks like he may have smacked the wall there.
Yeah, I went down here to just take a peek here on this back group, led by John Osborne. You know, they're sitting 17 seconds off of that front pack, and, you know, it's going to be tough. You know, these packs are kind of evenly sized, and, you know, they're going to make time about the same. The leader of this pack ran a 49.70. The leader of the front pack ran a 49.70, so I mean, they're running about exactly the same, so it's going to be tough for them to really make any headway. The only advantage that they do have right now is the fact that they are all in a single file line. As we cross over lucky number... Oh, nope, I'm a bit early. I like to call lucky number 13. You know, it's lucky number 14 here as we go. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because you've got these guys that are in a single file line running down these leaders, but it's 17 seconds away, and at 40, roughly a second a lap, that's still not enough time.
Kyle Diaz, that number 26 on the low side there. I wonder what the low line's play is, Jordan.
Well, I mean,
truthfully, we don't have that many laps left.
Yeah, truthfully, here on now lucky number 13 lap, truly their only play is to just get tucked together and push. I mean, you've got too many on the outside to leave any kind of air between you. Like, you know, so the 32 is going to actually dip on those guys. Oh, nope, he actually continues to stay down there. If he can get to the back of the 15 and push that 15 up to Burden and, you know, close these gaps, as I say that, they do exactly what I think. And, you know, they've just got to stick in that general vicinity of each other. They'll be able to pull enough speed and, you know, match Boughton on the outside. But, you know, if they can't stay single file, I mean, they're going to have to find a way, you know, to maybe entice others to get to that bottom line.
Yeah, bottom line is really swirly down there. looks like the 32 is gonna jump to the high line. All these guys on the low line may want to consider doing the same if they can't work their way back up to the front. But we'll see. Because right now they're stuck in the middle of the pack of the high line.
And it looks like the 32 ditched, you know, that bottom line. So now just Burden, Diaz, and Rivers on that bottom line, all on their lonesome. So they're gonna have to find a way to get in the mix here, as it looks like the 32's on the outside by himself, 3 wide here. And now that top line starts to move a little lower. Jump onto that. Sam Taylor going to be just ahead of these guys here momentarily. And now you see that bottom line found the space to bring down a majority of that line and try to pull away, and you know, now they left it's flipped now. You have 3 cars on the outside versus 3 cars on the inside.
Yeah, I honestly did not expect them to flip this early. I knew they would, but I was expecting them to do it with like 6 or 5 laps left, not 10 laps to go. So it's an interesting play here. Understandable play, but I wonder how it's going to work out for the guys in the top 3. We see the 91, 10, and 32 are going to try to come back together and try to maybe slide each individual of themselves somewhere in this low line.
Yeah, 10 laps to go here. 9.5 if you're counting that way, as they go into turn 3 here. Adam Button leading the field with Dwayne Furtick, Anthony Ludi, Michael Carter, and Dylan Picklesimmer in that top 5 position. The 91 and 32 are not racing for position. However, Aaron Miller in between all of these guys, trying to find any way to get up towards the front, and he's going to work with these guys and doesn't care. He's going to be hoping that maybe even the 3 of Sam Taylor would pop up there with one of these other 2 guys as well. It looks like 32 is going to squeeze in between Kyle Diaz, but Diaz is going to leave him down, and that might be a little bit of not necessarily retaliation for them, you know, getting left in the dust by the 32, but you know, they all decide to even this line up just a touch. If that 3 can get to them, be able to even it up to the fullest extent, 6 cars against 6 cars.
Outside line has a few more drivers now, so I would say it's about even, just looking at it. Outside and inside line. Number 3 back there, kind of all by his lonesome, trying to catch up with one of these, and
yeah, it's not working to his venture. As the 51 looks to the outside.
Yeah, 51 jumps outside.
Dwayne Furtick jumps to the outside. He's gonna pull that outside line with them, and now he's gonna be head to head with Dwayne Furtick and Adam Bolton. And now you see that 51 working with the 92, going to drop down in front of him with Aaron Miller, who was just stuck in between all of them earlier. Finds his way up into the 2nd place position. Yes, I said 2nd, even though he's the 3rd car in line, because the 92 or the 91 of Kane Lee is not on the lead lap. So he's going to basically try to probably play a little bit of a spoiler here and, you know, be a pick for the 51 as we get closer. We're 7 laps to go.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to help the 51 and Dwayne Furtick kind of pull something off here, I believe, maybe? I thought that was a play, but it looks like he boosted Furtick up to the top line to cover out off the charge of Diaz and Tyler Burton. See what happens here is
now Diaz finds his way.
Low.
Diaz finds his way through.
Yeah, these top 3 guys are back in the top 3 again because they were at one point because of pit stops, and they had to drop back, and now they're back up to the top 3.
Dwayne Furtick finds his way all the way back to the back of the pack, from the lead to the back in less than a lap, and that shows you how quickly things happen here. 6 laps to go here. They're going to lap the 74 of Pete Walsh as we come through now. The 9 and 3 are still stuck on the outside. more worse for wear for the 9 is now the 94 of Bolton and the 91 of Kane Lee pops up top for a moment. Bolton going to follow back in the line here onto the back of Aaron Miller.
Whoa, 3 kind of gets a push there from, I think that's the number 8 of Michael Carter. Got sent up all the way up the track. Yeah, number 51 of Dwayne Furtick is falling all the way back to the rear of this pack.
Yeah, and you know, now you have Kyle Diaz, Burden, and Bradley Rivers right where they were beforehand. And now they have their version of a pick in the 32 of Marshall Harris in between them. But Bolton fighting on the outside with the 91 of Kane Lee.
It's like Tyler Burden got really loose there coming into the tri-oval. Nothing crazy, just I noticed that he got super loose.
Yeah, and you can see those guys are really tucked up underneath each other, pulling almost a 4-car gap on everybody else. And, you know, they're going to be able to play basically defensive. And I like to refer to them as the, you know, Super Bowl 50 Denver Broncos because, you know, that defense wins championships. So certainly here, a defense can win that race.
They're going to have to work together if they're going to pull it off, though. I mean, they have been so far, but they can't do anything crazy now. It's too late in the game.
Yeah, but, you know, Kyle Diaz looking for a win here, sitting 6 in the points. A win would be certainly good for him and moving him up the ladder. As, you know, Adam Bolton, or John Osborne, the closest man to him, 2 points, sitting in 15th. So that's going to be a big change there. Dwayne Furtick, also one that's just 8 points in front of him, sitting, you know, in 8th right now. So, I mean, he's going to draw him close to there. And then Tyler Burden right behind him. So not going to help him much there, but, you know, then you have Tay McDonald.
Hey, number 9 is making a crazy move. Tay's going
and there we go.
The sprint car. Wow, a lot just happened right there. Number 91 got hit by the 10.
Yeah, calamity, chaos, and you know.
Yeah, I think the number 9 wanted to throw the car down low, and I think that may have spooked the number 10 that was right behind him.
We'll take a look here.
And he kind of panicked, and yeah, watch the number 9 shoot down. So 9 shoots down, under. 10 panics.
No, the 32.
Turned by the 32.
The 32 gets, or hooks the 10 there.
Either way, the 9 making that move like that kind of spooked everybody else.
Take a look at this from a different angle. You see a 32 pushing the 10. Burden gets a little close there. Moves inside, and then bam! Hook, and I mean, just nowhere to go for him. I mean, it just, you know, they kind of have one of those things where it's just how it happens, and not a lot to be done.
And this is gonna extend the finish, so we're gonna have a green-white checkered here. Let's take a look at this from inside Harris's view.
The 91 just gets absolutely obliterated there.
Not his fault either. He was just minding his own business.
Yeah, I mean, look here. He's just pushing.
Yeah, watch the 10
right on
the left.
He's on Bolton. Pushing Bolton. Next thing you know,
yeah, 10 on
he's
the left.
hooked. So, and I want to take a quick look here at the 51 of Furtick under this caution here. I think he gets through scot-free.
Yeah, there's a 10 right up there, and you see the 32 right behind him. Oh, wow. There's no way.
Wasn't touched.
He was not touched.
Was not touched.
That's pure luck right there.
Yeah, so Kyle Diaz going to keep control of the lead with Bradley Rivers, Dylan Picklesimmer, Adam Bolton, and Tyler Burden, your top 5. So, you know, Diaz looking for some big help there again, you know, seeing some of these other guys have a little bit of trouble. You know, John Osborne's back in the mix. He was sitting in like that late 17th position, but you know, like now it's gonna get a little bit haywired here. Is, you know, we're gonna have the full field fully stuck up with each other. Nobody is currently out of this race. Everybody's still making laps, still making time at this current moment. So, I mean, there's a lot here that's still going to possibly happen just because, you know, everybody's going to be hungry. It's the first race of the chase, so they're going to want to get every single thing that they can get out of this. And it's one of those things we're just going to have to basically ride along for the time being.
So order stands as of right now. Kyle Diaz in that 26, sitting in first. Bradley Rivers in that number 15, second. Dylan Picklesheimer in the number 9 in third. Adam Bowden in the number 94, sitting fourth. And then Tyler Burton in that 06, sitting fifth. That is your top 5 right there. As we are pacing around, waiting for the lineup.
Yeah, so we're gonna have 3 shots at this. This is shot number 1 of 3 for a green-white checkered, and you know, I think we're gonna at least use another one of those because again, we're gonna be all bunched up. Everybody's back in this pack.
Yeah, pace car lights are out.
Yeah, so, you know, these guys are going to have to just really buckle in. I mean, you've got to have every bit of focus here. Every little thing that can go wrong will go wrong if you're not careful. So for Kyle Diaz, his biggest thing is just to basically watch his mirror because he's got nothing else to look for at this current moment. So while these guys bring it back around, we're going to take a quick slide away and be right back for the green flag. Back here at Talladega, getting ready to roll into this restart zone, coming at you. Gonna be 2 laps, green-white checkered here as Kyle Diaz leads them back to green. Gonna dive to the low line already. Not sure if he's allowed to do that before the start-finish. I'm gonna have to see what happens there. Most of the leagues I know of, you're not allowed to make that move until you cross the start-finish line. Gonna be interesting to see how that's called. The 9 of Picklesheimer goes to the top side. Gonna get a side draft off the 15. We're running 2x2. Diaz ahead of Seimer for now. Gonna jump up to the top. He's gonna get hung out to dry. He's gonna get. Oh, they're gonna touch. 4 wide now.
Touch, but they keep it straight. They touch, but they keep it straight.
And they're gonna wreck behind.
There you go. We're wrecking.
Diaz upside down. Furtick upside down. Boughton caught in it. The 29 of Tay McDonald caught in it. I mean,
number 5 doesn't get away with it either.
I told you we were going to have this happen.
Yeah, you did. I didn't believe you. I genuinely thought that they might be able to pull it off in this attempt, but I guess I was right. I know I was wrong. There's no guessing about it.
It looks like, I think the 74 of Pete Walsh. Yeah, 74 Pete Walsh gets hooked by the 32 of Harris. Yeah, just unfortunate there. So that was that. That was the big beginning of the wreck. Is the hook. I mean, you can see the rear wheel of that. You know, it starts way up front. Everybody kind of shuffles. They end up below that line. That's the start of it. Now, if we move a little bit
my
further,
theory is that the reason why the rear of the pack crashed first before the front. Yeah, the front looked like they were crashing, so everybody in the rear is locked into their own race back there, and then they see all those cars start to shuffle around how they're not supposed to, and it's like, oh wow, they might be crashing. We need to like get ready, either hold my line, go high, low, stop, brake, accelerate through, do some crazy maneuver. So they maybe panicked a little bit and got, you know, a loss of focus, and that just caused that rear to crash. I don't know about the
yeah, you can see here Diaz gets a shot from Tay McDonald, shoves him up the racetrack into the 10 of Aaron Miller, and then they're all just along for the ride there. And I mean, again, like McDonald gets a little bit of a shove, and then that's where everything else goes wrong for Boughton, McDonald, Osborne, Furtick. I mean, just everyone scattered every single place that you can possibly be on this track. Mueller comes through, hood up. I mean, it's just, I mean, the 9 of Pickle Simmer there, smoking, done for the day. Might have a fast repair still in the book, but, you know, it's uncertain to know. But a lot of things just changed drastically. And it's going to be a long list of people on that. Looks like the 9 of Simmer was able to get back out, so it does look like he did carry that fast repair still, so that's good for him. Boughton's still out. Looking here, Furtick's still taking time, Walsh taking time, Mueller taking time, Roth, Christopher Roth that is, of the 62, taking a lot of time. Tay McDonald getting a lot of service done, and I'm not sure about Kane Lee. It does have him sitting there for about 21 seconds, so it looks like he's going to be taking a lot of time too. So certainly looking at 3, 4, 5, 6 cars that are pretty beat up and banged up as McDonald and Kane Lee leaving pit road now. We're taking a peek here. McDonald doesn't seem to be too damaged up, but it's going to be more of what's that motor like.
Oh yeah. So we're going to be on attempt number 2 out of 3 here, Jordan.
Sorry, you broke up just a touch. What was that there, Sam?
I said we're going to be on attempt number 2 out of 3 now.
Yep, 2 of 3, and there's a possibility that we're not done. I mean, I did say we were going to use at least 2 of them, but it didn't mean that there wouldn't be a third used by any means.
If they have to use another one, that third one is probably going to be the most chaotic, arguably.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got a lot of hungry drivers here.
Yeah, pace car lights are out.
Yeah, so we're going to be pulled around here. You know, we're going to have that long ride around the back stretch, and, you know, it's going to be one of those things where, you know, the anticipation is sinking in for these guys, and you know, while they have to sit there and wallow in that anticipation, we're going to finish up some of the commercials that we missed on that last restart, and then we'll be back for green flag action. back here at Talladega, getting ready to send these things off into green, white checkered. Number 2, Bradley Rivers shoots out of a cannon. He's going to get a big gap. Burden probably going to drop down into that spot. There he goes now. In line. Furtick finds his way on the outside, leaning that outside line. Travis Gilbert on the inside, trying to pull his way there. Burden and Rivers have a massive gap, and I think they're out a little too far here. The only thing that they could possibly want to do there is it looks like we're going 3 wide, almost 3 wide. 2 cars stuck in the middle here. They fight their way up and in front of the 40 here. Tay McDonald coming through the center now. He was trying to get to the front earlier. He's got his teammate to the inside of Travis Gilbert. Big push from McDonald. Pushes the 30 up high. Furtick going to go up high. Tay McDonald through the middle. Furtick on the outside. The 15 of Rivers on the inside. Coming to 1 to go. White flag in the air. We're going to see a race to the finish here. All bets are off. Diaz pushing McDonald. Furtick stuck in kind of a no man's land in the middle there with Travis Gilbert kind of stuck as well. The 15 of Rivers getting a shove by Burden. We've got a wiggle out of Gilbert in the back. Diaz gets hooked. Burden goes off. Rivers and McDonald are all on their lonesome with the 32 of Harris trying to find his way through. Harris gets hooked. The 15 of Rivers is out on his lonesome. McDonald down on the bottom behind Dylan Picklesimmer. Simmer going to go up high. Rivers trying to figure out which lane to block. McDonald shoots to the outside. Side by side, drag racing through the tri-oval. I don't think we're done yet. Simer sideways. McDonald, they're hitting. McDonald shoving him to the bottom. McDonald comes away with the win at the line.
Wow. That it has to be the craziest finish I've seen in a Talladega for Cup this year on iRacing. Wow, what on earth? That was a crazy last 2 laps here, Jordan.
Yeah, crazy last 2 laps is an understatement here. As we had wrecks on the back stretch, on the front stretch, in the tri-oval. Everybody was fighting for every little bit of space there. Tay McDonald comes away with the win while driving tight side by side to Bradley Rivers, not giving him a single inch there. Kane Lee rebounds to 3rd after originally being a lap down at some point in this race. So absolute chaos here at the end of the ECR Cup Series for the Cannonball Run 250 here at Talladega, and we're gonna try to settle down here enough to get these guys up in the booth. But you know, it's one of those things where it just you can never get settled down, especially with a finish like that. But certainly gonna see if we can get a hold of Kane Lee. It's Jordan and Sam up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Oh my lord, you guys were chaotic there at the end. Everybody was everywhere and pushing and shoving and throwing Hail Marys and elbows, and I mean, dude, it was like football and UFC all at the same time.
Oh yeah, it was insane. Look, I spent half of this race, well, probably more than half of this race, all the way in the back and then the lap down. So I got the lap back right down that last caution, and I found any run I could take and just took every single last pass I could possibly find.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that just shows you right there that, you know, anything can happen happen here at Talladega. I mean, like you said, you were a lap down and find your way back on the lead lap. So when that caution did come out, you know, did your mindset immediately flip that you thought, you know, I've got a chance at this?
It did. So it went from that to, okay, there's going to be another big wreck and I'm going to be in the back. So how am I going to avoid this? But luckily there wasn't too many incidences like right in front of me. So I just kept just swerving in and out of traffic and just taking runs. I was wanting to go to the high side there, but it kind of got bottled up a little bit. So I just went low and then went to the apron and just shoved my way through.
Yeah. And, you know, one thing I want to touch on, you made the chase this year without a win, and
yeah,
you know,
unfortunately.
but the thing is that's an achievement in itself to make it without a win. So how does a finish like this, still not getting the win here at Talladega, how does a finish though up in the top 3 here, kind of propel you forward as you get further into this playoff?
I mean, it feels really good. If you look, a lot of the playoff guys had some bad luck. So definitely, I feel good about making up some points here. I love Bristol. Bristol's our next race that we go to, so I feel really strong about that track. I have that circled as one that I can win. So this is a good start. It's time to take it to these boys.
Absolutely. And before we send you on your way, is there anyone you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I just want to thank my teammates at RMS, and then I want to give a shout out to 17 South, Gary Nash, who wasn't able to race tonight. That's my buddy. I hope you're doing well. But that's it. And thank you guys for the broadcast.
And thank you for your time, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was our 3rd place finisher, Kane Lee. And now I believe, Sam, you have Bradley Rivers.
Hey, Bradley, it's Sam and Jordan up in the booth. You got us? Yeah, I wanted you to pretty much talk me through what your kind of strategy was throughout the race. I know there's one point where y'all were leading, like I think it was you and 2 others. I know Kevin Diaz was there, and you guys had the pit, lost the lead. You 3 did, and somehow were able to fight back and take it back up until the finish where you eventually won. So just talk me through that.
Yeah, early on we had a teammate of ours just fall back a little bit and lost the draft, so we decided to help him out and pick him up, and then we all got together and then made that last pit stop, and we lost one of the teammates out of that after the pit stop, but yeah, we felt like we had a good shot up here, and I feel like Tyler was doing a really good job pushing up there after the restart, and it's unfortunate Kyle got wrecked on that first greenway checker. But I thought for sure I was gonna have it at the line, and when you got no help from behind, because teammates got wrecked out basically, so just no help to the line, and they end up getting the win ahead of me, and they did, and I'll take second.
Yeah, just want to say again, congratulations on your first place finish here. Jordan, do you have anything for Rivers here?
No, I mean, you're coming to the line there, and you're tight together, and kind of stuck in not really much you can do there except try to battle back, side by side, pushing him. But ultimately, you guys put on a heck of a show, and before we send you on your way, I mean, is there anyone else that you need to shout out to or thank?
Just shout out and thank my team from Aeons. We've been through a lot, and we've known each other for a very long time. This team has, and we're a great group of guys, and we're gonna play hard for this championship. I know that. But I'm gonna give a shout out to those guys. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here competing. So, and thanks for you guys for streaming it.
Absolutely. We want to wish you good luck for the rest of the chase, and maybe we'll be speaking to you here in the future.
I'm hoping, because I'm going to be pushing hard, so.
All right. Thanks again for your time, brother.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
And last and certainly not least, our race winner here, Tay McDonald. Tay, you got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing really well. You guys put on a heck of a show there at the end, and I mean, absolutely went chaotic there. And I mean, you spent a lot of the time towards the back. I know you didn't post a time, I believe. I think you were the first guy to not post a time for qualifying. Started in the back, and you find yourself up 19 spots to that first place spot.
Yeah, I mean, I screwed up qualifying. I thought it was an open qualifying, and just it was just really bad misjudgment on my part. But yeah, I mean, my plan was just kind of ride around and see how aggressive everybody was going to be, and there was a wreck like right in front of me, and I couldn't avoid it, and ended up losing the draft, and my teammates were awesome. They dropped out and came back and got me. Without them, I would have probably been at least 2-3 laps down tonight. So I gotta thank the guys at Gone Wrong Racing, Chris, Rob, Waylon, and Travis. Yeah, those guys got it done for me tonight.
Yeah, so I saw at the line, you know, you're kind of doing the old school door to door, just absolutely trying to box out Rivers there, and you know it works to your prevail. And you know what goes through your mind as you're coming through that entire just mess of stuff that was happening there, and trying to hold off Rivers.
Well, I knew that I had a couple teammates behind me, and I had to plan my runs the right way. I think there was a couple moves I made there on the last couple laps that maybe were questionable. But you got to be aggressive. I mean, these guys are really good, so you got to be as aggressive as you can without pissing anybody off, I guess. But yeah, I mean, my intention was just to side draft and pinch him down at the bottom, and all I could think about was Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick at Phoenix. That photo finish there, and I just I pinned it against him, but we kept it up above the yellow line. And I mean, I've won races, I've lost races that way, so it's one of those things where if you can make it work, make it work.
Yeah, and I mean it certainly worked, and you know Gilbert had said at the beginning of the race was, you know, helping you win a championship, and you know being a team player, but you know this win's certainly got to be a you know one of those things that's gonna definitely help your mental and your motivation to continue moving into the building your gap on these other guys. Came into the race 6 points to the good over second. You know, how does this project you into the rest of the chase?
This gives me a little bit more of a buffer, I guess, going into Bristol. You never really know what to expect going into Bristol, but then we have, you know, mile-and-a-half tracks after that, which I feel are my strong suit. So once we get out of Bristol and after the off week, I'm ready to go for Michigan. I think I can win maybe 3 of the last 4. So high hopes over here to get that championship. And like I said, couldn't have done it without my teammates tonight. If it wasn't for them, I would have been laps down.
Yeah, you certainly can't do something like Talladega without your teammates. They play a pivotal role in all of it. You know, before we send you on your way, is there anybody you want to shout out and thank?
Yeah, thank the league admin, league sponsors. Thank you guys at Sim Racing Media. Thank my grandma Linda for watching every week. And again, got to thank my teammates. I'm ready to go for Bristol next week and see if we can't get another good finish.
Well, certainly want to wish you luck in the rest of the chase, and you know maybe we'll be speaking to you at the end of it.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, Sam. Well, that certainly does it here for us. Going to go ahead and round this up and run through the results here. Tay McDonald going to be your winner, followed by Bradley Rivers. Door to door, beats Rivers by just 1,000th of a second, followed by Kane Lee, Waylon Turner, Travis Gilbert, rounding out your top 5. Aaron Miller, Doug Denise, Dylan Picklesimmer, Robert Roth, Marshall Harris, your top 10. Aaron Spear, Kyle Diaz, Tyler Burden, Adam Boughton, who came in a really good spot, or your regular season champion, falls here to 14th tonight. 12 spots from his second place start. Anthony Ludi comes 15th. John Osborne, Dwayne Furtick 16th and 17th. And rounding out the field is Pete Walsh. So everybody ran the entire race until the end there. And I mean, it was a great race. And certainly looking forward to the rest of these playoffs here with the ECR Cup Series. And with that being said, as you walk the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, y'all.